Now, the second instructive example for what we believe can put people first and enable workers and managers and suppliers in Detroit, Michigan, and across the nation who will suffer immeasurably if we do not prevent our big three automakers from going out of business. And in the next couple of months, if they go out of business, it will have disastrous consequences for millions of American workers. And to present a capital homesteading solution to avoid that catastrophe, it is my unquestioned joy to present a lady, a wisdom teacher and speaker, who is president of the American Auto Worker Ownership Committee and is a community activist in Toledo, Ohio. Recently retired after 23 years at Toledo Jeep factory. She served as a UAW union rep and secretary for civil rights in the local union. She's going to present to you that which is the people's hope for capital homesteading in this era when we're about to lose, if policymakers don't hear us and act on what we say, the three major automakers in America. I want you to meet Michelle Marder, who is the sweetest lady in the whole wide world and will be known when we finish this movement as the Joan of Arc of our time. Go ahead.
Thank you, Walter.
I mean it. Keep it up. You're doing a job.
Thank you very much for coming out here. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, our American Auto Worker Ownership Committee meets with several congressmen and senators alike to give a proposal. And my second hand here, Robert Mason, is our chairman, and he will be giving that presentation. And we're here to plead with and urge, actually, our administration to not forget the rank and file in the process of this bailout. They need to be heard, and we are their voice. And we appreciate any kind of support and all support, and really all of your time today. And I'm going to let Robert actually speak at this point.
That we are here to launch serious consideration of a solution to the problems facing our automakers in this country, the three big ones. That includes cooperation and has the agreement of not only auto workers, but also has the agreement of suppliers and the agreement of management. And to present their view of this, it's my privilege to present Mr. Robert Mason, who lives in Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City. And he is a seasoned corporate executive and former officer in Chrysler's strategic business and corporate governance processes. He was responsible for helping to define Daimler Chrysler's global production strategy and long-term direction of $25 billion in capital investment in 17 countries. He is a graduate of the University of Michigan with an MBA, and I'm pleased to have him join his colleague, a leader among auto workers in this country, to represent the wisdom of managers who now understand now is the time for people ownership, citizen ownership of our auto industry, and more important, now is the time for capital homesteading. I give you Mr. Robert Mason.
Thank you very much, Reverend. I got a feel for my president here, Michelle. It's hard to follow a couple of politicians, a preacher, and a poet. That's tough. That said, I did want to thank you very much, Reverend, for all of your support helping move this forward. And Norm Curlin from the Center for Economic and Social Justice, who's really a 100% ESOP advocate, and he'll be helping us create the governance and the structure that we'll be able to add and apply to the financial model. Now, some of you might ask, well, what the heck does a former automotive executive have to do with ownership and capital homesteading and mayors in East St. Louis? Well, the fact of the matter is, we all recognize the current model is broken. It doesn't work. The current model was designed in a way in which workers worked, management managed, and owners owned. The owners accrued wealth, but at the same time, they protected the workers from some of the ill effects of the economy. So working for an employer was a long-term venture. Everybody and their brother understands now that this has completely changed and inverted. 20 years ago, if you were to get a job at Chrysler, it was like winning the lottery. You had a job for life. Now, everyone that's leaving universities now can expect to have 5 to 7 jobs in their lifetime. And while they're doing so, their ability to accrue equity, their ability to grow wealth has been marginalized. Sure, we've made great strides increasing wages and translating costs throughout the economy, but have we created wealth? I'll leave that as an open-ended question. Now, I'll be very candid. In 2007, I was responsible for leading a group of individuals to identify ways to reduce Chrysler's fixed costs by $2 billion. I took on the challenge with a couple caveats. One, that we do not rationalize our product plan to the point where we cannot be an effective car maker in the future. And two, we don't take out tons of bodies. We don't take out labor. So you can find a butcher to go do that. If you want a surgeon and someone that knows their craft and is an emergency manager, I'll take that challenge on, and we'll find some new breakthrough methodology and innovative ways to do so. We worked very hard, and we were successful. But that said, had we had the flexibility that an ESOP provides, 100% employee ownership, this task would have been much easier. 100% employee ownership aligns management's burden to provide short-term profitability with the workers' need to have long-term viability, because they're going to be working there, hopefully, for many, many, many years. Also, 100% ownership translates your fixed costs. And not to get into a big academic conversation about what fixed costs are, but those are the ones that are absolutely crushing the automotive industry right now. They can't shed it fast enough. And if you can translate your fixed costs into variable costs, you'll always have a cost structure that's aligned with the marketplace. So that when the market goes down 20, 30, 40% for product, you don't have to lay off tens and hundreds of thousands of employees and rationalize plants. You just simply create less cars. It's not rocket science, it's not magic, and it's not new, but it does support the three tenets of triple bottom line sustainability. And that's economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. So with that said, I thank you all for coming out today. I thank you very much for your support. I'm going to be putting my arm behind and my shoulder, my back, and pushing very hard to make sure that we get and keep pushing and put people first.
Wow! Isn't that wonderful?